University Choir from South Africa, conducted by Andre van der Merwe.
The country and the city which opened the hospitality gates for the 10th anniversary World Choir Games in 2018. Stadion Tshwane, South Africa. Come sing with us in Tshwane 2018.
Мы увидимся в Южной Африке в 2018 году.
Come sing with us in Tshwane 2018.
We are at 320 Madiba Street, Central Place, and this is Tshwane House. Good morning, welcome to it. This is a big day for the people of this particular city, the people of the capital, the people of Tshwane. Why? It's the State of the Capital address today, where the mayor will be outlining the progress, the shortcoming, the challenges, but future plans as well for you, the residents of the city. Good morning and welcome. My name is Thabo Shole Mashao. I'm excited to be your host this morning. We are going to be having a very informative, insightful session. Speaking of informative and insightful, Dr. Mweketsi Musola is here with us. He is the city manager. Obviously, you know who he is. Dr. Musola, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. It's absolutely a pleasure to be here, and good morning to the beautiful citizens of our beautiful capital.
You're part of policy making in the city. You have a very difficult job of steering one of the biggest cities in Africa, if not big in terms of it's the capital of the country, obviously. I mean, what does this day mean to you as someone who has to make sure that the city progresses, we move from one point to the other?
Look, I mean, today is a very, very special day, certainly for the executive mayor, but most importantly for the very important people in our city, our citizens who are taxpayers. Today they will hear from the mayor from a policy position in terms of what the mayor plans to do together with the city for next year. You are right, Thabo, that our capital is the third largest in the world in terms of space.
Yes.
This is now after New York and after Japan. So we actually cover a huge area. Secondly, we are one of the metros in the world with the largest rural population. So we actually have to cater for rural communities, most of which really stay very far from the city center. But also, you know, in this city, most of our people, 55% of the citizens of the city of Tshwane, stay in Region 1, Soshanguve, Mabopane, and Region 2, which is basically Hammanskraal. These people are about 50 kilometers away from where you and I are sitting at the moment. From a policy point of view, it is about how do we make it easy for parents to be able to come into the city to do work. Mayor will actually announce some measures in that. Number two, we also have to deal with issues of roads and stormwater. In this city, there are kids that still cannot go to school when it's raining. In 2018, the executive mayor has told us that is not acceptable. We agree. To that effect, he will announce really incredible measures in terms of like what we're doing to address that, in terms of going forward. And of course, electricity. The citizens of the city have seen very, very unstable electricity supply in the last few years due to many years of neglect. The mayor will make major announcement about our efforts, how we are stabilizing electricity, so that as we go forward, electricity should become normal to the citizens. People should not even notice that it is an issue. So yes, the mayor has put policy positions that are pro-poor, that will address areas in the city that needs the services the most. And therefore the focus of this budget, as the mayor will announce, will predominantly dealing with backlogs in areas where our people are and where these areas and services are needed the most.
Now, these are the marching orders, obviously, from the mayor, and they will then go to your desk, and you need to see that implementation happens. Someone who's watching us right now, sitting at Harankua, wherever they are in Peli, they are thinking, will this reach me? You have to make sure that what the mayor says reaches an ordinary person. So how important are these marching orders, and how are you going to make sure that an end user who is a resident of the city is reached by these?
This is very important. It's so important for the citizens of this city to know that without them, there is nothing that we cannot do. This is about building the partnership between the city, the labor, and the communities. We can only be able to deliver the services when we work very closely with our communities. So we just finished a process where communities have identified the needs in their communities. Now we are responding to those, and we are saying to that, we have heard you, and in the new budget, we will be actually implementing those projects: water, electricity, and sanitation.
I wanted to ask you about the vandalization. I know you are very strong on that. Sadly, we've run out of time. I'm hoping we can speak to you afterwards so that we can expand on those again. Thank you so much, Dr. Musula, for joining us.
Thank you for being here.
This is Ndade Dr. Mwekitsi Musula, who is the city manager of the city of Tshwane. Let's come back to you.
Go and see you. No, The theme this morning is run your race. Run your race. The spirit this morning is emphasizing an individual and a corporate message. I will come to that now. To the EM this morning, to the MMC, to the chief, to every head of department, to every employee this morning. Focus on running your race. Focus. And simply the definition of sin is to miss your mark. And I believe this morning you don't want to miss your mark. It is to do the wrong thing or to go the wrong way. That which violates God's will in your life. That is to sin. And the second thing, the first thing is sin, and the second thing is unnecessary weight. We are carrying unnecessary weight in this race. So whatever does not favor you, the weight you are carrying that is not favoring you, get rid of it. It's like wearing the wrong shoes when you are running the race.
Let's keep running. Okay. So, my name is Tab. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Pleased to meet you. Thank you, sir. A hive of activity here outside Tshwane House, 320 Madiba Street in the city of Tshwane. And the occasion, if you've just joined us, welcome. It is the State of the Capital Address. My name is Thabo Sholomashao. We're excited to bring you this address live. In the next few minutes, the Mayor of the city of Tshwane, Councillor Solly Msimang, is going to be giving the State of the Capital Address, giving progress about your water, safety issues. Speaking of safety issues, we have Superintendent Isaac Mahamba, who is here with us right now. Sup, welcome. It's great to have you. This must have been a nightmare to organize. People, I'm sure the motorists have given you a hard time. How has it been preparing, particularly the roads?
Good morning to us and to the viewers. I can't call it a nightmare per se. It's something that we are used to. It's something that is our daily bread. It's something that we enjoy to do. To prepare the event, it's a nice thing. Remember, within the department, what we like it at the most, we have a specific unit that deals specifically with certain issues. For instance, we have a team that knows their responsibility is to arrange this particular occasion. We have a drill squad that they know on daily basics is for them to practice, to have this specific occasion ready for them. So that's why I don't want to call it a nightmare. It's something that we enjoy enjoy to do. It's our work. And specifically, I won't go to operational matters, how we plan behind the scene, but it takes us a pleasure to prepare this thing. As you said, it's an event for Executive Mayor to engage with the citizens of the city, whereby he'll outline the programs of the city, how far are they. But for us as police, we want to make sure that all the time the citizens of the city are always safe. And for us to come here and have that special drill outside there is what we enjoy the most. And as I indicated earlier on, we like to do this, what we are doing now.
And with the motorists cooperating as you've blocked some of the roads as I was driving in, I know a couple of roads were closed. And are you getting cooperations from the residents?
We are getting cooperation since yesterday after we issued a statement that there's certain roads that will be closing. My phone kept ringing all the time, engaging with the community. Some have concerns, obviously, to say they are working around these areas. How going to come or how going to make for them easier to come to their workstations. And I've been engaging them. They are happy. The very important thing is to engage them, is to talk to your community, tell them, address their concerns. Some they are saying they've got meetings around the CBD. They keep on asking me how to access the area. So I've been engaging them. We never seen anybody that is frustrated, and we are still saying some portion of the street, specifically Madiba Street, from Thabo Sehume up until Sisulu, we are going to keep it closed for the entire day, and we are advising motorists to say when they found themselves around this area, they should be patient. But as I indicated earlier on, the traffic, yes, it might have an impact, but now we are seeing it starting to flow. Remember earlier on, we closed the street since 5 o'clock in the morning, but now most of the people are in their workstations. It's starting to ease, but we did not see anybody that was frustrated, because we've deployed our members just to engage the community to make sure they reach their destiny.
Now it's time for you to boast, because without pomp and ceremony, this event would be a little bit dull. Your drill team is doing a wonderful job, and I hear that recently you've won an award at Nazareth. Tell us about that and who you were competing against.
That was amazing. As I indicated earlier on, we've put in a team of this drill squad of us. They recently won an award in Range Show last week Friday. They were competing against JMPD, EMPD, Ekurhuleni, Joburg Metropolis, and SAPS. They got a first prize. They walk away with an award plus 25,000 rand, but it's not meant for them. Now people will start singing that Mapodisa Barata Chelete. It's not for the individual. It's not for a cold drink. It's not for individuals. The head of community safety, she said it specifically that it will go to their improvement. If there's any equipment that they need, if there's any clothing that they need, she'll make that money immediately available. We are happy about that, and we are proud of this team. It's not for the first time that they win an award. Remember, I don't know, or I'm not so sure how other departments or other municipalities, how do they work, but our team, when they go to work, their responsibility is to drill. So they have enough time to practice on daily basics. When they report for duty, their mandate is just to drill. So, and they enjoy what they are doing. They were so excited last week when they won this award. And I will say, as a department, we are proud of these kids. They are doing a wonderful job, and we are going to encourage them to keep it the way they are. They should shine. They should make sure that the city shine through them. We are proud of this team.
Well, on that proud moment, let me let you go to your team and not keep you away from them for too long, because you need to make sure that they win the next award. Sup, thank you so much for your time.
I can't go away without mentioning that it's not the only award we won as the city of Tshwane. Recently, we won 2 awards. In February, the community safety held 2 awards. Specifically, we won another award for best law enforcement in the whole Gauteng, and the other award, it was for the best by law enforcement in the whole Gauteng. We are proud to have the Tshwane Metropolis family.
Superintendent Isaac Mahamba, and we are coming to you live. Let's chat after the break. There's still a breeze in the air, a little bit cold, but the excitement is keeping us all warm here outside Tshwane House. We are eagerly awaiting the State of the Capital address. My name is Thabo Sholomashau, and now I am joined by the spokesperson of the Tshwane Emergency Services, Mr. Johan Pieterse, who's going to tell us, because emergency services are somehow at the heartbeat of the city. Johan, thank you so much for joining us. Do you want to tell us maybe briefly about today's state of the capital address? You, as the emergency people, are working with a number of issues. The weather has not been on your side every now and then. How is that going in terms of preparing for this? Were you busy? Were you worried about things like rain?
First of all, thank you for the opportunity. No. We're always prepared to deal with any situation that we encountered with. This is part of our contingency plans. You know, we've been doing this for many years. Following this career, you are well prepared to handle any emergency situation that you might be faced with. The State of the City address, obviously we feel just as proud as the city to be part of this, and that's why we showcased some of our professional vehicles outside for the community to see that we can handle any situation that we might be faced with.
And speaking of which units are partaking?
We've got an aerial platform which is part of the display. We've got it's called the Engine Company. It's basically a vehicle that caters for rescues and fires. And then we also got a rapid intervention unit that basically says exactly what the name says, a rapid intervention, quick access, get there, stabilizes the scene, and then we carry on. While the aerial platform, we've got multi-storage, we're in city center, high-risk area, so if there's any high-rise building on fire, that is where those vehicles come to their full operation.
And I mean, your fire engine, like little kids, we are always excited whenever we see these big fire engines, and I was excited to see those. Are they up to capacity to deliver efficiently to the emergencies in the city?
Yes, no, definitely. We're just as excited as the kids. That's why we followed this career. Bear in mind, you know, big boys' toys. But yes, we got a passion to serve. Yes, our vehicles are definitely capable to serve. We in a phasing in and out program of getting in new vehicles. We will be launching some of our new vehicles in May month. We imported 2 American vehicles, which we're very proud of, and grateful and thankful for the city that approved that. So the people must just be on the lookout. They'll see new engines in the city within 2 or 3 months, and we're definitely there to serve the community.
Definitely, and one of the things that it would be the ambulances. Tell us about that. Are you coping with getting emergencies to, particularly regarding ambulances?
Yes, we're definitely coping, but I think there's no city in the world that can say that they will ever have enough ambulances. So we must just remember that. But with our current fleet, yes, we do cope. There might be delays in some areas, but remember, we're serving nearly 4 million people. But our fleet is quite new.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it, and we wish you the best, and we hope to see you again very soon. Hopefully not needing ambulance services, perhaps maybe just for a fire drill within one of your fancy engines, fire engines.
Yes, 100%. Thank you very much, but we are ready for any situation.
Thank you so much. Johan Pieterse is the spokesperson of the Tshwane Emergency Services, and he was telling us about emergency issues here. And clearly, he wants to talk some more because he loves his job so much. Let's chat some more after the break.
Council and Secretarial Committee Services, Secretariat and Council support staff, and relevant service providers are allowed inside this proclaimed council chamber. I now request everyone, while seated, to observe a moment of silence in prayer and meditation. Thank you very much. Please worship the Executive Mayor, Honorable Koshike Garna and his entourage, Honorable Kosi Masango and his entourage, the Chief Whip of Council, the Leader of Executive Business, members of the Mayoral Committee, Chair of Chairs, Chairperson of the Section 79 committees, leaders of all political parties represented in Council, Honorable other women, aldermen, and councillors, the City Manager, and the senior officials, distinguished guests in the public galleries, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a hearty welcome to all of you to the Executive Mayor, City of Tshwane State of the Capital Address 2018. The State of the Capital Address, Honorable other women, aldermen, and councillors, is important for the people of Tshwane, as it covers not only the political and socio-economic state of the city, but all service delivery commitments of local government. The Executive Mayor will also highlight the current achievements and challenges and will suggest a way forward in addressing future imperatives in a partnership between the City of Tshwane, the residents of Tshwane, and all stakeholders. This vital exercise gives expression to the theme of the State of the Capital Address, which is stabilize, revitalize, and deliver, and to the concept of accountability which are important cornerstones of a present-day government. Please note that the speech will be distributed to councillors, traditional leaders, guests, and senior officials by making it available on intranet and on the City of Tshwane website immediately after it was delivered by the Executive Mayor. I take it that all honorable alderwomen, aldermen, and councillors have signed the attendance register for this meeting, and if not, please do so after the Executive Mayor's speech. And we now go to the second item, which is leave of absence for councillors. Please be informed that all councillors' applications for leave of absence, as approved by the Chief Whip of Council, will be submitted to the Office of the Speaker directly for capturing in the minutes. And I will now move to the third item of this meeting, which is the unopposed proposals by the Speaker and other proposals allowed by the Speaker. The first one will be the City of Tshwane's memorial service to pay tribute to the late Mrs. Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. A special council meeting today, the 12th of April, immediately after conclusion of the State of the Capital Address meeting, will take place. Honorable alderwomen, aldermen, and councillors, please note that a special council meeting has been convened to take place today in this council chamber immediately after conclusion of this special council meeting in the form of a memorial service in order for council to pay tribute to the late Mrs. Winnie Madikizela-Mandela, who passed away at the Milpark Hospital in Johannesburg on the 2nd of April 2018 at the age of 81. The notice of the special council meeting for the memorial service after this meeting has been loaded on SharePoint calendar yesterday. We will pay our tribute and express our condolences to the late Mrs. Madikizela-Mandela during that meeting. And the second one is the demise of Dr. Zwela Skweyiya. Honorable alderwomen, aldermen, and councillors, our country is also mourning the demise of another ANC veteran, Dr. Zwela Skweyiya, who passed away on Wednesday, the 11th April 2018, at the age of 75 years after a short illness. The ANC veteran, among others, served as Minister of Public Service and Administration in former President Nelson Mandela's cabinet, and then as Minister of Social Development during President Thabo Mbeki's administration. After leaving Parliament, Dr. Skweyiya entered the diplomatic world, with his last post being South Africa's High Commission to London. We express our heartfelt condolences to the Skweyiya family. May his soul also rest in peace. Honorable alderwomen, aldermen, and councillors, may I ask us to please rise? I know it might be uncomfortable for the chairs to sing around, but I hope we will be willing to all rise and observe a moment of silence in remembrance of our departed veterans. May we please rise? A moment of silence, please, councillors. Thank you very much, Councillor. Thank you. May their legendary spirits and souls rest in peace. Now we come to the main item for the day, which is the Executive Mayor's delivers the State of the Capital Address. Honorable aldermen, alderwomen, councillors, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Executive Mayor, Councillor Solly Msimanga, who will deliver the State of the Capital Address for 2018. Executive Mayor, please.
Madam Speaker, Leader of Council Business, the Chief Whip, members of the Mayoral Committee, fellow councillors, the esteemed Governor of the Reserve Bank who is present here today, the City Manager and Senior Managers present here today, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors who are sitting here, and High Commissioners, leaders of business community present here today, distinguished guests, comrades and friends, members of the media, and most importantly, good morning to the VIPs, the resilient people of the city of Tshwane. Before we get into the business of today, I would like to pay a tribute to Mama Winnie Nomzamo Madikizela Mandela. As a community and as a nation, we are mourning the sudden loss of Umama Madikizela, a woman of courage, a woman of strength, who passed on the 2nd of April, 2018. Me ona tseba go tshwara thipa ka mo bogaleng, impokoto in which a lot of us have learned strength, have learned wisdom, have learned patience. A woman who has taught a black child that it is possible. A woman that has taught a black lady that it's fine to go and learn something and be something for yourself, not be a shadow of somebody else. If there's anything that I wish that all of us can learn, especially our young women, is that it is possible. If there's one thing that we can take from there, is that it is possible to be the best that you can be. It didn't matter where she found herself, whether she was in Brantford, whether she was in Soweto, or she was in the Eastern Cape. She stood as a woman of stature, a woman of courage, a woman of conviction. And I hope that we will learn from here onwards the good things that she stood for. It was quite a shame, Madam Speaker, that there are those who are now trying to take the opportunity to tarnish her image. A quiet shame, Madam Speaker, that all those who are now coming up out of the woodworks to come and tarnish her image, while she stood gallantly so, while she stood. You see, if there's one thing about a true leader, is one who would say, I will not lead at all cost. Is one who will say, I can understand the dynamics, I will step back. A gallant leader she was, and a tribute to her and her life from us will be to live a life of embracing democracy, a life of protecting and standing for those that are the most weak in our society. That will be a befitting tribute. More than naming anything after her, a befitting tribute will be how we as men begin to treat our women going forward. It's how our ladies begin to treat and respect themselves. She was a very beautiful woman inside and out. Some of the women, you know, half her age don't even look as beautiful as she was looking. And I say some because she knew how to carry herself. She knew how to carry herself. She was a woman of pride. Even when everything was taken from her, she was a woman of pride. I also paid tribute this morning to Untatu Dr. Skweyiya, Madam Speaker. I think we have lost as South Africa. Somebody said that the richest place that you find on earth is actually the graveside. Because that's where people of brains, that's where the people of talents end up at, and we are lost. And I hope that the Skweyiya family will also take solace in knowing that he is now in a better place. We also mourn the loss of the 5 Soshanguve children who tragically passed in light of the accident in November last year, Madam Speaker. We send a message of hope and support to all affected families and trust that you will find solace knowing that they are resting in eternal peace. Madam Speaker, when I assumed office, in partnership with other political parties, there were sectors of the public who said we couldn't do it. Yet, almost 2 years on, this government still stands and is making progress in the interest of the people of Tshwane. While we may have had our differences from time to time, the program of action is still continuing. I would like to start by thanking all political parties represented in Council for the contribution that they have made in the governance of this beautiful city. To the ACDP, to COPE and the Freedom Front for their collective and collaborative responsibility that they've played as well in this government. To the EFF for the manner in which they have worked with us, and of course the ANC, the official opposition, who have given us a run for our money from time to time, who have really raised issues. We want to say thank you. From without our collective ability to rise above party politics, we may not have the ability to achieve what we have been able to achieve, and we may not be able to plan as we have been planning to go into the future. The Council chamber has been a place of vigorous debate over the last few months, all of which contributes to the strengthening of governance in the beautiful city of Tshwane. During the 2016 election campaign, we made a promise to the city to turn it around, that we would stop corruption, deliver better services, and create jobs and work opportunities for our people. As this administration, the governance will continue to deliver on the promise we have made to the city residents. It is a fact that we have inherited a cash-strapped city where not enough resources or provision had been made to address the service delivery backlog that threatens the dignity of our people, who continue to languish in poor circumstances. Understanding that all these challenges, it was important that we work smartly with the limited resources at our disposal that required us to focus our attention on our priorities, which are informed by the will of the people who were elected to serve. Noting that we may have just concluded a commemoration of the Human Rights Month, it is also important to take stock of the principles that led us to this point in our democracy and remind ourselves of what our responsibility is as a functionary of local government. Section 152 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa talks to what we are or where we are as a local government. Like ours, it finds expression and its intent. Local governments are in charge and have been given an onerous task of ensuring that we provide a democratic and accountable government for local communities, ensuring that the provision of services to communities, it is done in a sustainable manner, ensuring that the promotion of social and economic development, promoting a safe and healthy environment, and encouraging the involvement of communities and community organizations in the matters of local government. What this administration took, when we took this administration in Tshwane here in August 2016, we developed 3 guiding principles that will steer the focus of our work. First of all, we said that we needed to stabilize our government. We needed to revitalize the economy, and we needed to ensure that we begin to deliver better services for our people, each of which will unroll during the term of this administration. Madam Speaker, When putting this speech together, I felt that it would be befitting to put one of the most critical problems at the forefront right from the beginning. When I said we were putting the state of the city together, one of the things that is threatening to break every effort of improvement that we're doing in the city is the issue of cable theft. Madam Speaker, we are suffering huge amount of cable theft on a daily basis. I'm raising this up because it's not only an issue of cables that are stolen, but it's an issue of opportunities that are also stolen. It's an issue of life that is threatened when hospitals don't have the electricity that they require, when we cannot have electricity that is used at our water purification plants to ensure that our people get clean water. Opportunities that are lost when the industries, the automotive industry as an example, don't get electricity to be able to produce what they need to produce. It is something that is of great concern. Tshwane is not a major producer of copper. It seems to be one of the largest marketplaces, though, for the sale and trade of copper. I wrote to the president and I said, Mr. President, it's amazing that we don't have copper mines in South Africa, but we are the biggest exporter of copper. That begins to tell you that there is something fundamentally wrong. The South African Police Services, we have engaged and said, well, can we get assistance and join hands in order to ensure that we are able to really cut the syndicates that are really threatening to cripple the progress of our city. And not only this city, and this is why I've also engaged with the mayors of Johannesburg and the mayor of Ekurhuleni to say that as the Gauteng heartbeat, as the metros of this beautiful country, of this beautiful province of ours, we need to come together and say, how do we come and join hands and ensuring that we're able to have a plan going forward where we will be able to drive this issue of cable theft and the syndicates to a halt. If we're not going to be able to do that, we will not be able at all to take our city, to take our province, to take our country to the great lengths that we know that it could be. I wish to apologize to the residents of Tshwane who have been subjected to rolling power outages because of theft targeted at our infrastructure. We are dealing with this matter. As I said, we are going to be meeting as mayors of the metro cities here, but over and above that, we are going to be engaging the provincial commissioner and the national commissioner to ensure that we are able to once and for all come up with a plan that will see a stop to this scourge of cable theft that is crippling our cities. Cable theft needs a comprehensive and coordinated effort in order for us to ensure that we can provide sustainable and reliable electricity and water supply to our people. It is because of all these power outages owing to cable theft that I said on Tuesday we'll be meeting with the mayors to ensure that we're able to have a program of action going forward. One of the things that people don't realize is that the more you're chopping and changing the cables as you go, the more unstable your electricity supply becomes in the city. And this is why even when we replace cables, you switch on, you find that the electricity will trip from time to time because of all the joints that are taking place in between. And therefore, I want to urge the residents of Tshwane to say no to this issue of cable theft. You are staying next to those that are dealing with cables. Let us know who they are. You are staying, and some of you are fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters of those that are stealing and dealing with this illegal copper. You are not only participating in ensuring that the city is regressing, but you are also participating in killing the lives of our people. The city manager has also made an official request for the city of Ekurhuleni to ensure that we partner with them as we look into the Section 32 to procure goods and services that can help us in the fight against cable theft. That is something that we'll continue to ensure, that we partner with the municipalities where there seems to be getting it right in terms of addressing the problem of cable theft going forward. The incidents of cable theft have not only cost the city millions of rands in the last year, but it has also caused unnecessary inconvenience for both the city and its consumers. Extraordinary measures are really indeed needed for this extra phenomenon that we are dealing with. Madam Speaker, we need to make sure that we grow our city's economy. The city's economy is going to be what will take us out of the social ills that we find ourselves in. And if we're not going to be able to deal with this issue of theft of cables and the vandalism of our infrastructure, which hampers the sustainable provision of services such as the transport, communication, water and electricity, it will also affect the quality of life for residents and hamper the local economic development as well. There are well-organized syndicates, and we are going to be dealing with this decisively. We are hoping that the national and provincial government will come on board, as we have seen that not only are they targeting the city-owned infrastructure, but also railway networks, electrical substation and water purification plants are also in the pipeline. In the city of Tshwane, our assessment of this incident indicates that there is an inactive attempt to destabilize the city's administration. As such, the cable theft unit in the TMPD has come under increased pressure. The unit is also employing proactive measures such as physical guarding and patrols to curb the theft. But as I said, we will not be able to do it alone. We need our communities to come on board. We need to make sure that we, as the people of Tshwane, the people of Gauteng, and indeed the people of South Africa, stand and say enough is enough, and we need to do something about it. From November 2017 up to date, the city has experienced at least 1,498 instances of cable theft and vandalism. In some regions, it has been far worse than in others. In Region 1, for instance, we have suffered 257 of these incidences. In Region 2, we have suffered 42. In Region 3, we have suffered 626. In Region 4, we have suffered 221. In Region 5, 22. In Region 6, 314, in Region 7, 16, which brings the total to 1,498. The city of Tshwane loses millions a year to cable theft, and there seems to be no coordinated plan by law enforcement agencies at national level to deal decisively with this issue, as policing of this nature falls squarely within the ambit of distilled in the Constitution. While the city of Tshwane has the modest law enforcement capabilities, like any other municipalities, it is not the empowerment of the current legislation to deal with what appears to be a cable theft syndicate across our municipalities. It is therefore critical that the Minister of Police, the national and provincial commissioners, the MEC for Community Safety, and municipalities work together to come up with a comprehensive and workable plan to drastically reduce the cable theft, jail the culprits, and move towards assisting us in providing reliable services to our people who need it, no matter the political party that they belong to. The reason why cable theft practices flourish is because there is market for stolen commodity. We cannot therefore target only those that are stealing cables, but we also now need to dig deeper and get to those who are the heads of this syndicates. This will require intelligence, which sits with the South African Police Services. Buyers have responsibilities to ensure that the material that they are buying is not stolen property by insisting, or not stolen property, by insisting on relevant documentations to see where the cable comes from. Often we find that the buyers are in cahoots with the thieves as they buy from these prices, or they buy with the prices that are below market value. Buyers purchase these stolen properties will not be spared and will too be subjected to the rule of law. And progress in this regard is being made. While not yet perfect, we are working around the clock to ensure that every day less and less of our services are being disrupted by these criminals. And I want to really take this opportunity to apologize to the people of Tshwane for the inconvenience that they are suffering, and assure you that we are putting in place a plan that will once and for all bring the scourge under control. Madam Speaker, we're also giving a renewed focus towards the crime prevention by law enforcement. In the inner city, we have created a dedicated multidisciplinary task team that is systematically tackling the issue of associated with urban decay. They meet on a weekly basis and conduct operations continuously in problematic areas to keep the provision and to ensure that the pressure is on to those who are violating the city's bylaws. Making the cities safer and ridding it of illicit activities, it is a key priorities for this administration. With our newly hired police chief at the helm, I'm encouraged by the efforts that they have made during the past few months in ensuring that ours become a city of law, that ours become a safer city. Madam Speaker, building a strong and capable city requires us to capacitate the personnel and the skills that we have in our city. One of my primary goals when elected was to ensure that we stabilize the staffing structures in our city. The success of a political administration in Tshwane is tied intrinsically to the capabilities within the civil service. I did say, Madam Speaker, that when I came in, one of the things that I said I needed to stop was the Hollywood style which we found here. When we came here, everybody was acting. There was never anybody who was really in a permanent position. You had an acting director, acting city manager, acting deputy city manager, acting legal, whatever, acting this, acting that. And we needed to make sure, Madam Speaker, that we stop the Hollywood style and ensure that we have people of talent employed in positions that will be able to ensure that we begin to take this administration going forward. We found, Madam Speaker, that once you have people in full-time position, it empowers them to take decisive decision. It also empowers them to ensure that we are able to hold them to account and do what they need to do to ensure that we take this city of ours going forward. We want to say, Madam Speaker, that we have capacitated the city manager's office as a top accounting officer. Thereafter, we supported this office with 3 highly experienced people in the form of the governance support officer, the chief operations officer, and the chief financial officer. They gradually are seeing to the city and ensuring that we are able to put systems in place that will take our people forward in a progressive manner. Group heads of the department is now also in a process of being finalized. In most cases, we have employed those group heads, Madam Speaker, and we are now in the process of ensuring that they are also capacitated in their offices to ensure that they are able to deliver the services that they need to deliver. At present, the city sits with a vacancy rate of 25%, which will also be addressed by the latest recruitment phase. This will ensure that the city is further capacitated to discharge its mandate to the people. Stabilizing the city starts right at the top. It needs the right administration leadership with the professional skills and management experience. Madam Speaker, I can tell you right now without doubt that all the Section 56 managers or directors and above, all of them have to go through competency tests. We didn't hire people because they were card-carrying members of a particular organization. We never even asked that. We hired people because they possess the skills, they possess the right qualification, and have shown track record of being able to do the job that needs to be done. And I want to urge that this be the way in which administrations, whether in this one or whether it is in another municipality or another province or at a national level, that we never hire people just because of the membership that they hold, but we hire people because they possess the skill to do the right job. The city of Tshwane, the city of Tshwane is a complex administration with multiple different layers and requires a variety of competencies, Madam Speaker. Having now stabilized the management structure of the organization, we are in a position to ensure that more consistent decision-making processes of the city going forward can be made. And I think it's something that we should be celebrating. Another step last year is that we realigned the microstructure of the city so that we can begin to reprioritize our recruiting of artisans such as plumbers, electricians, technicians, and various other trades. These are critical skills to the city as we expand on the delivery capabilities that have been set by the political leadership. With more teams on the ground, the city will be able to increase its response time or will be able to increase its response time to faults that get logged at our customer care center, which too have been marked with improvements since we took office. We will also be able to take far more proactive approach in terms of the preventative maintenance, which will expand the lifespan of our infrastructure. I think at this point it is important to also highlight, Madam Speaker, that we are sitting with aged infrastructure. Some of our infrastructure should have been replaced some 20 years ago. We are sitting with asbestos pipes that are becoming a problem on a daily basis. We are sitting with electricity subs that are a problem on a daily basis. We are loading more and more on them, but we are not really maintaining, or they haven't been maintained or replaced as they should have been. And it's something that is receiving the attention from this administration. This recruitment process, Madam Speaker, that I spoke about earlier has already begun and will unfold over the next few months as we begin to ensure that we have the capacity in multiple different departments in the city. Although the recruitment and human resource processes within our city are not necessarily news-grabbing headlines, they are fundamentally important, though, towards the creation of a stable government. One where there is a clear line of responsibility and accountability that runs from the top of the organization right down to the last person at the bottom. It allows for the creation of streamlining bureaucracy, which is focused on delivering a professionalized frontline services. I want to encourage members of the public to pursue the City of Tshwane website and peruse the City of Tshwane website, as there are now very, very many different opportunities that we have advertised in the city. We are also going to be advertising in future quite a number of those vacancies that have now become vacant. We are now feeling what should have been done 6-7 years ago. 6-7 years ago, the city knew that there was a problem of artisans in the city. We never filled those vacancies. We knew that there was a problem 6-7 years ago of electricians. We never filled those vacancies. We knew that there was a need 6-7 years ago of specialized plumbers. We never filled those vacancies. And we are now doing it, and we are encouraging members of the beautiful city of Tshwane to come on board and join us and bring their talent to ensure that we are able to really take the city to its greatest heights. Part of stabilizing the city, Madam Speaker, requires a strong legal team to get the administration out of the wholly unaffordable PEU smart meter contract, which was fleecing the residents. I'm bringing this up, Madam Speaker, because we're still suffering the effects of the PEU contract. We might have won our case in court, but we are still suffering due to that same contract. We are pleased that in October last year, a full bench of the North Gauteng High Court delivered in favor of the city of Tshwane in its PEU smart meter scam perpetrated by the former administration, that it was indeed an illegal and irregular tender to supply prepaid electricity meters and services by the company called PEU Capital Partners. Ironically, PEU was initially appointed on a tender to give advice to the city of Tshwane on how to save money. But the deal soon transmographed into something completely different by passing competitive bidding processes. From the onset, this administration, or we from the opposition at the time, had pointed out that the tender and the deal was irregular and would punch a hole in Tshwane's coffers. We later discovered that the National Treasury and the Finance Minister agreed with our view. But this information was deliberately withheld from the public, even as the previous administration voted to approve the deal in the Municipal Council. Initially, in Tshwane, we paid 19.5 cents for every rand of electricity, which ran through at about 13,000 meters. It was expected that the PEU would initially or will ultimately install many more of these meters, but that never took place. But yet we had paid billions and billions of rand towards this illegal contract. But when illegal action threatened to expose the rigged tender, Tshwane's previous administration concluded a sham termination agreement to allow the service to allow a new service provider to have a sneak way in and to allow the old provider a clean getaway. We said that that cannot be the case, and when we went to court, we said that there can never be a termination agreement where Tshwane will be paying 950 million as a termination fee to PEU subsidiary, which is TAMS. The 19.5 cents was reduced to 9.5 cents, which was still very, very high and didn't really constitute any good value for money for the people of Tshwane. The plan was for TAMS to hand over its business with Tshwane to a new service provider that was hurriedly appointed. The 950 million payout was interdicted pending the challenge to the original rigged tenders. The money has been kept in a trust ever since, pending the finalization of the case, which is now again in court. The judgment holds all deals between Tshwane and Peu and subsidiary TAMS as unlawful and lays the basis for the city to untangle itself from the relationship which has cost our city so dearly. We also hope that the judgment sends the right message to every unscrupulous service provider doing this, the business with the city, to say that we will not tolerate any kind of corruption in this beautiful city of ours. Madam Speaker, corruption eats away at the fiber of society, eats away at the opportunities that our people are supposed to be getting. We always hear about how many houses have been built, how many roads have been built, how many infrastructure have been put. But what we never question is at what cost? How many houses more could have been built if corruption was not part of the deals? How many roads would have been constructed more if corruption was not part of the deal? If you are paying 3-4 times what it actually costs, it is corruption that is stealing, and unfortunately it is stealing from the poor of the poor in our society. And as we said, and as I promised to the VIP of our city, they will get the best services without any corruption involved. Madam Speaker, last year's State of the Capital Address, I announced that after the extensive consultation, this administration would sell the Miral Mansion. We believed it was unnecessary that the funds of the sale could be used to embark on another meaningless project. And therefore, we said to have a meaningful project and to ensure that the majority of our people do benefit out of the proceeds of this Miral Mansion, we did sell it, and we did make a promise to ensure that going forward, more than 40 VIPs of our city will have a place that they can call home. A place a house that is even bigger than an RDP house that they can call home. 40 families will benefit out of a house that had been kept for a while as the headquarters of a particular party's meeting that was left for a number of years without occupation. And we said, here and no more. I attended the auction, Madam Speaker, on the 23rd of November, and we collected 5.1 million rand for the house. And I'm happy to announce that the proceeds from the Miral Mansion have been earmarked for those houses that I've alluded to a little bit earlier on. So families that are deserving will be built houses in Atteridgeville Extension 19, where the city is currently installing service stands. The decision to sell the Miral House was an easy one. We assessed the true benefits of this double-story, 4-bedroom house, which benefited only one family and is occasionally used for a couple of meetings with diplomatic corps against providing a roof and property ownership, asset base and dignity to the people and the families that are in need. And that, to me, was an easy decision to make, and common sense prevailed. It doesn't end here, Madam Speaker. Not only are we providing homes to the deserving families, but we are also contributing to the creation of job opportunities, as the construction project will also contribute towards employment in the community and benefit local families. We believe that this promotion will also go towards the emancipation of our communities in its involvement in building of these homes, and promotes a sense of ownership and pride. Workers will be trained on construction, on professional work areas, and be provided with the skills which will be useful in going into the future. The selection process, Madam Speaker, will focus on the provision of homes for well-deserving families in need of homes from different sectors of the community. It is in line with the city's vision of creating integrated communities that we have decided to go this route. This selection process will also be guided by the National Housing Code, which includes prioritizing the following: the elderly, the people living with disability, child-headed households, socio-economic circumstances of the family, year of registration on the National Housing Needs Register. We've also already started with the identification of beneficiaries for these houses. Top of our priorities is to address the special cases first. We have here Ms. Evelyn Kobone. We have Ms. Kobone who's sitting here with us here today, who has registered on the National Housing Needs Register since 1999. She is currently renting a back room at 11183 in Dube Street in Mamelodi. We also have Mr. Joshua Toka, who's also here with us, a resident from Atteridgeville who lives with a disability and on a wheelchair. He and his wife survived on the government grant. There is also Ms. Ruth Letswalo, a resident from Easteres, who stays with a daughter and granddaughter. She's currently unemployed and renting a garage. She and her dependents currently occupy for 1,500 a month. Her daughter is still at school and had turned 18. She's still at school and had turned 18, which means that the child grant she received had to be terminated. There is also Ms. Kamini Feramotu, a wife of a mother of 3 children. She's currently on a city's waiting list for a rental unit. Ms. Vermatu family resides in Lodium and currently survive on Mr. Gopal Vermatu as well as their daughter's disability grant. Mr. Gormatu is blind and her daughter, or his daughter is also aesthetic and is hard to hear. We have also Mr. Baxter, who grew up in Paarl in foster home with 2 of his 7 siblings. He came to Pretoria in 1996 and has stayed in the Westford since 2006. He survives by recycling from his shack, and I think we can give them a round of applause. They are sitting in the back. We also, how can
Honorable councillors, can we please proceed in order? EM.
We also have
honorable councillors, honorable councillors, can we please proceed in order? Honorable councillors. Thank you very much. Thank you indeed. EM, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I hope you were listening, Councillor Mashego. I said, listen to what Mr. Baxter is standing, if you listen. All right. Colleagues, we shall continue.
EM, please proceed. The debate, honorable councillors, the debate will follow. It is not yet time for the debate.
We also have, Madam Speaker.
Let me just ask for calm. Honorable councillors, you will all have an opportunity to debate the speech. Please, let's allow the Executive Mayor to proceed. Executive Mayor, please proceed. Honorable councillors,
thank you very much, Madam Speaker. We also have Untatile, whose grandfather, Patrick, passed away before he could be allocated a house, which was approved in 1999. She was taken by his brother, Victor Nkomo. These are some of the beneficiaries who will benefit from the proceeds of the Meral Mansion. These are not just houses that are built. They are benefiting from the sale of the Meral Mansion. I don't know how this was your project if you have never decided to sell the Meral Mansion. The sale of the Meral Mansion further presents us, Madam Speaker, with an opportunity to explore and advocate alternative building technologies that are reliable, durable, aesthetically pleasing, environmentally friendly, cheaper, and easy to maintain. The house will therefore be constructed using alternative building technologies. In doing so, the city will be setting a different tone and standard for the low-cost housing by building good quality and bigger but affordable houses for our people. The construction of those houses, yes, we can clap for them, they deserve. The construction of these houses will commence at the beginning of May this year. So next month, the construction of these houses will commence when the procurement processes have been finalized, and it is anticipated that they will be completed by the end of May 2019 and unveiled in the month of June of that particular year. Madam Speaker, we have prioritized giving dignity to our people by accelerating the distribution of title deeds, ensuring that property owners have the legal surety enshrined in the Constitution that their home ownership is a critical economic intervention. It presents homeowners with the opportunity to leverage their house as an asset to access financial loans, which will assist in funding new business ventures and further education for their children. It is a private property right, a right that is enshrined in our Constitution that we are championing. I'm happy to encourage that we have now, or to announce that we have now reached 90% of the total target of 6,000 that we have set ourselves last year. We have issued over 4,417 of these title deeds as of February 2018. In the next weeks, before the financial year end, we will be at various parts of the city continuing with the program of issuing title deeds and promoting security of tenure. These areas include Nel Mafias Extension 6, 7, and 8, where we will be issuing 390 title deeds. We also have Refilwe 1, where 79 households will be receiving their title deeds. And in Mamelodi Ward 16, where we will also issuing 402 title deeds. Many more are still in the pipeline, and we are confident that we will meet our target by the end of the financial year. Madam Speaker, the following informal settlements have also benefited through the incremental upgrade of informal settlement processes. This includes the relocation of the property layout stands and the provision of rudimentary and basic services to our people. Some of the areas that are identified are the following: the rearranging, or as it's known, reblocking of 1,958 households in Mahube Valley Extension 15, the relocation of 347 Pumulong residents to Erven 2223 and 2224. Also, the Mafias Extension 22, 311 households rearranged or reblocked in Pumulong, Erven 34041. 400 households are rearranged in Mamelodi Extension 11. And also we have the relocation of 471 Brazzaville residents to Attridgeville Extension 19. We're also rearranging 1,193 households in Pienaarsport Extension 21, also known as Lethabong. We are relocating 281 households to portion 2 of Farm Donkerhoed 370 JR. Relocating of 112 households from Choba Informal Settlement to Olivenholt Bosch Extension 27, which are the low-cost housing for the people of our city to benefit. This done without any interference of any councillor, without involvement of corrupt officials, to ensure that we are able to deliver the best for our people, because they do deserve better. Construction has commenced in all the following 7 informal settlements, with bulk infrastructure projects that have in earnest have started. In Mabopane Extension 1, the construction of water and sewer reticulation system is anticipated to be completed in June of this year, Madam Speaker. The construction of the bulk sewer line at Kurube Extension 9 will also be completed by the end of this month. In Olivenholt Bosch, the construction of 229 top structure is on track for completion at the end of the financial year, and will make sure that the right and true beneficiaries of those houses do get to occupy those houses, Madam Speaker. Progress has also been made in Refilwe Manor on the construction of the reservoir and the pump station. At Zitobeni Heights, in Zitobeni Extension 8, 9, we are also working around the clock to complete the water reticulation system and house connections to the sewer, respectively. At Timberview, we have successfully re-advertised a tender and appointed a contractor to bulk sewer or to construct a bulk sewer line and water line to ensure that the people of Temba will once and for all have flushing toilet, have water that is coming into the yards and not relying on stand taps. That is a promise that we have made. That is a promise that we are delivering to our people. It is at this point that I would like to announce that the city of Tshwane is currently in the process of acquiring 2 additional pieces of land. Additionally, we in negotiations with the Gauteng Provincial Department to transfer another 2 land parcels, which will benefit our relocations and formalization efforts in the city going forward. We want to urge our residents not to participate in land grabs. When you participate in land grabs, you are only delaying the progress that we want to make. When you are occupying land that hasn't been planned for,
Honorable councillors, we will have our debate. Honorable councillors, please. Honorable councillors, EM, let me first come to the House. Honorable councillors, thank you. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Honorable councillors, Bomme, Galebo, thank you very much. EM, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with the funding from the Gauteng Department of Human Settlement, we are able to implement the housing project in Mamelodi, Erven 29355 in Thorntree View, and I'm sure the Councillor of Mamelodi will be very much happy and will participate in ensuring that the process is one in which runs smoothly and we can actually allocate houses and housing stands to the people in Mamelodi. In Rama City as well, Madam Speaker, the Human Settlement Department has also launched in collaboration with the Premier in the northwestern part of our city, near Roslyn, a project that in its completion will see 15,000 units being built for the people of our city. 15,000 units are indeed in the pipeline to ensure that we can really give dignity to the people of our city. As the Premier himself highlighted in his speech, the mega project would create a wealth and healthy environment which also creates a vibrant household economy that will ensure that job opportunities are created closer to places of work, thereby reducing traveling costs and also ensuring that we take care of social amenities close to where the people live. In Ga-Rankuwa Extension 10, a new contractor was also appointed in February to revisit the existing completed infrastructure that has been vandalized over a period of 3 years. The people of Ga-Rankuwa have once and they have a number of times come to us and say, what are we saying about the houses that we have built in Ga-Rankuwa? Those houses are now being vandalized while we have so many people that are in need of houses. We have heard their cry, and we are indeed working on ensuring that that particular project gets started again and we can complete and ensure that the people in Ga-Rankuwa get the decency that they deserve. However, we must also note that we have found that, that there is also a problem with the sewer lines in that particular area, Madam Speaker. I want to then say, Madam Speaker, this is why last year when I addressed this August House, I did say that ours is to make sure that we do things right the first time around. The wrong things that were done, and I think the people deserve to know the truth. Wrong pipes were laid in Ga-Rankuwa in the first place. The pipes that were laid in Ga-Rankuwa are now closing. They are closing up because they were the wrong specs of pipes that were laid in that particular space. We are now in a process of ensuring that we are changing the system to ensure that bigger pipes, correct specifications are used to ensure that the people of Ga-Rankuwa once and for all will have dignified sanitary systems that is running through them. We want to also say, Madam Speaker, that we have found that a worrying trend has developed in Ga-Rankuwa, where you find that logs are actually shoved into the infrastructure. Last week we had to take out bricks out of the sewer system. Last month, we had to also take out a 50 kg bag of cement that has also been shoved into the lines. Earlier on, we had to, Madam Speaker, take out the whole inside of a cow out of the infrastructure. That tells you that there is something that is sinister that is happening, because it is physically or biologically impossible for things that we are taking out of there to come out of a human being. So we want to say to those that are really trying to sabotage our infrastructure, you will not win. We will do everything that we can. You will not win, because we will ensure that the people of Ga-Rankuwa know what is it that we find out. We will publish what is it that we find out, and we will hope that the community of Ga-Rankuwa will work with us. As Ntate Makgoro has said, had called me a week ago, thanking us for responding and assisting them with the infrastructure. But also when we showed them what we were taking out of that particular infrastructure, he was convinced that this is acts of sabotage, and the people will get tired and will get to delivering services for our people. Madam Speaker, while this matter of incomplete projects with the previous contractor is also before the court of law, the city also took a decision to appoint a consultant to prepare a BOQ covering the additional scope of work that is also including the demolition of that particular space. In Mooiplaas, Madam Speaker, the difference of our administration's collaborative efforts for the betterment of the city of Tshwane people, the city in working together with the Gauteng Department of Human Settlement to respond to the service delivery needs of the communities, particularly in the area of Mooiplaas. We have continuously met with the communities of both Olivenhout-Bosch and Mooiplaas in order to address the concerns of RDP allocation before the distribution commences. It's another problem that, Madam Speaker, I think it's important that the people of Tshwane know, and we need to highlight. The previous administration, preparing for elections, went to Olivenhout-Bosch, promised a set of community houses that were built. Went to Mooiplaas, promised the same set of people, or different set of people, the same set of houses. Now we're sitting in a problem where the people are saying these houses are ours because we have been told that these are our houses. Yet on the other side, the community is also saying these are our houses because we are sitting with happy letters. It was very interesting to see the previous MMC for housing sitting right at the back when this thing was discussed, disowning everything that he had promised the people. And we said we will own up. We will find a more permanent solution where people will not be divided in according to the geographical space that they find themselves originally come from. We cannot say this is an area for Mooiplaas people, this is an area for Olivenhout-Bosch people. This is a residence, this is a problem for Tshwane, and we need to say Tshwane mo Tshwane. When we build houses, we'll build for everybody, and we will not be part of dividing people and encouraging war. That has been happening in that particular area. I want to call the people of Mooiplaas and the people of Olivenhout-Bosch to exercise restraint in ensuring that we are able to do the correct thing in allocating the right beneficiaries to their right houses, to ensure that at the end of the day, we begin to also identify those that are still in the housing space that are needing to get into their houses, and we are able to then correct the list and build for them going forward. The Department of Human Settlement was also ensuring that we prepare an additional 350 stands that will also be to the beneficiaries of part of the 841 approved beneficiaries that are also coming from the Mooiplaas to Olivenhout-Bosch Extension 27. We are now reacting and fixing the problems that have been created, not by us, Madam Speaker, but we are not going to shy away from those. But we want those that have been responsible for these problems to stand up as well and say we will be part of the solution and not wash our hands and stand on the side when people are threatening to kill each other. The relocation is also necessary because Mooiplaas is on a dolomitic piece of land, Madam Speaker, and only a fraction of that land is habitable. The city is in the process of identifying other suitable pieces of land to relocate the remainder of the qualifying households in Mooiplaas to other areas. Madam Speaker, I think I should also use this opportunity to say to the people of Tshwane, I cannot and I will not give priorities to those people that are not South Africans over South Africans. Mooiplaas has got 80%. Mooiplaas have got 80% of people living there who are not South Africans. And I cannot. That is a national competency they need to deal with. But at a city level, I cannot prioritize the relocation of people that find themselves in a country illegally. We will make sure that those that benefit out of the housing list, out of the stand list, are those people that are South African or people with a proper South African identity document. Those are the people that will make sure that we concentrate on and make sure that we relocate them to the right stands. We have noted the concerns and the threats, Madam Speaker, by a group of Olivenhout Bosch residents that they will not vacate the illegal occupied houses meant for Mooiplaas community. To this we say, law and order must be the order of the day, Madam Speaker, and we'll make sure that we are working with the law enforcers to ensure that the right thing is done. Madam Speaker, as the DA-led multi-party government, we support land restitution, Madam Speaker. We support land redistribution. We support the dignity of our people. We support efforts to undo the terrible legacy of forced land dispossession, which prevented black families from building integrated intergenerational wealth, Madam Speaker. The President of the Republic, Cyril Ramaphosa, is on record that the government will not support illegal land invasion. In his words, he said, and I quote, "We should not tolerate disorder and lawlessness of that type. Nobody has any right to invade land, to violate other people's rights. All those who want to invade land, they will not get to know that they will not be allowed to do that." Close quote. As such, we encourage our people to not allow themselves to be used as political pawns to further the agenda of political parties who do not always have their best interests at heart. This was demonstrated most recently in Olivenhout Bosch, where land parcels were unlawfully seized or due to undue influence and encouragement by a councillor, as we are told, in the area. This was done in defiance of the prescription of Section 25 of the Constitution of the Republic, and indeed does not speed up property ownership, but rather delays and aggravates the backlog dating back as far as the advent of democracy in South Africa. We've always said, Madam Speaker, that if we are serious about breaking the backbone of apartheid legacy, we need to follow the law to the letter. We cannot break the law and take law into our own hands, because that only delays the progress that we should be making. I've always made an example, Madam Speaker, that in an informal settlement, it becomes very difficult for us to be able to give formalized services in informal settlement, where you have to dig in and lay water pipes or sewage pipes in there, where you have to make proper roads in there, where you have to lay electricity systems in there. And therefore, when we have identified pieces of land, Madam Speaker, it is important that we allow for the development of those pieces of land and then the allocation of people to those pieces of land, which will then free up those other pieces of land that are now currently occupied, Madam Speaker, to allow us the opportunity to then have a domino effect in which we'll be able to provide more service stands to our people. We are committed to ensuring that those people do receive their stands and do receive housing, but it has to be done in an orderly fashion. This is why, Madam Speaker, our approach seeks to make people real homeowners and protect their rights to build assets and wealth over time and hand this over to their children and future generations. Madam Speaker, central to our offer to the people of Tshwane is the idea of job creation and the creation of work opportunities. Notably, through our EPWP program, launched in December 2017, we called it Khatalenna. This program gives effect to our commitment to the generation of these work opportunities for our people. The city of Tshwane, like all public entities, is required to contribute towards the creation of employment under the expanded public works program. The EPWP aims to create employment opportunities for the unemployed and low-skilled people of South Africa through the delivery of public and community goods and services. We have had, Madam Speaker, lies that have been perpetuated that we have hired pensioners who have now benefited. And I still, Madam Speaker, call and challenge anybody who can
Let
bring.
me ask for, honorable councillors, let's please cooperate. We will have the opportunity to debate. May I kindly request your continued cooperation, please? Please, honorable councillors, I plead with yourselves. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Executive Mayor, please proceed. Kia kopa, please, bo mama, councillors, honorable councillors, please. Kia kopa hle. Let's continue. Let's continue in order. Honorable councillors, please, please. You will challenge the executive mayor during the debate. You know you are going to have the opportunity to debate. Please. Honorable councillors, please. Honorable councillors. Honorable councillors. Councillor Masilela Tlhekia Kopa. Ke kopa tirisano mmogo tu. Is that okay? Thank you very much. Ne? Councillor Masilela, please. Yes, you will debate at the ordinary council. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. So now we are in order, right? Please. Thank you very much, honorable councillors. Thank you. EM, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. When we started the recruitment process, we were very clear. We were calling people from the age of 18 up to 60 years. We were very, very clear, and it is unfortunate that when we had a multi-party agreement around this issue, nobody raised an objection around it. And we started employing people, and people are nitpicking on 1 or 2 or 3 people and saying these are pensioners. I urge, Madam Speaker, and I challenge anybody who can bring one person and say, here is a pensioner that benefited from there. The facts will speak for themselves. We have a database that is being used, and that database is one in which we are going to continue to employ the people of the city. We have created a number of opportunities, Madam Speaker, where we said we needed to first of all clean up the way the recruitment process was conducted. We know the people of Tshwane were crying before and saying that it looked like you had to be a card-carrying member of a certain organization before you could benefit from job opportunities. But now we've done away from that. And let me tell you something that is very nice about this whole thing. Right now we have the Department of Labor, we have now also Public Works who are saying they will adopt our system and ensure that they're able to implement it at a provincial, at a national level as well. Because this is a system that has been proven to be working, Madam Speaker. During the first quarter of the financial year, we made significant changes to the EPWP recruitment policy to relieve pressure on the staff and councillors and eliminate the patronage and nepotism that was actually taking place. We adopted an open, inclusive recruitment and lottery selection system, giving every qualifying individual equal opportunity at securing employment through EPWP program. Gone are the days where people come and say, if you don't know councillor so-and-so, you'll never get a job. If you don't know official so-and-so, you will not get a job. We are now implementing a system in which people will get an opportunity because they deserve, and it is their time to get an opportunity. To date, Madam Speaker, to date, we have held three lotteries, Madam Speaker. The latest being held in February 2018, where beneficiaries were randomly chosen, giving each applicant a fair chance of being selected. Significantly, the city designed the database in such a manner so that we can appoint EPWP beneficiaries by age, ward that they live in, skill set, and gender, without referring to their political affiliation, something that others were continuously dreaming about, but we are implementing. The city of Tshwane, Tshwane's department and regions are also implementing the project guided by the EPWP methodologies and principles. The city's contribution is also in the 3 main sectors that we are targeting. That is the infrastructure sector, the social sector, and also the environmental and cultural sector. In 2017-2018 financial year, the city set a target of creating 23,000 work opportunities through the implementation of the EPWP project. The infrastructure sector will contribute about 12,200 of these work opportunities out of the target of 23,000. The social sector will contribute 10,250 work opportunities out of the target of 23,000, Madam Speaker. The environmental and cultural sector will contribute 550 work opportunities out of the target of 23,000 work opportunities that the city is creating. As the executive mayor, my office will have its own dedicated program using 200 EPWP beneficiaries for a rapid delivery response and support in the city. The program will further, going forward, be known as Tunsalorole. We are saying from now on, Tunsalorole will be a program that will be implemented to fast-track some of the service delivery in our city. Where we have challenges, the group will be sent to ensure that we are able to respond much more quicker, to ensure that kan nete Tunsalorole Motswane ha re sa ema re tswella pele ba bang ba tla rasa ka gore ba palletswe go implementa seo rona re tla tswella pele go implementa seo re batho ba rona ba se khopela mo bathong ba rona. Since assuming office, Madam Speaker, we have seen that the EPWP recruitment framework policy is changed. I am pleased to announce that we have all up to date created 16,125 EPWP work opportunities across various programs and projects in the capital. It is important to note that 10,000 of these beneficiaries were recruited on the old system and 6,125 with our new lottery-based recruitment system since this council passed the EPWP recruitment framework policy in September last year, now known as Catalina. I am pleased to note that the system has received great praises from across all sectors in the city and also nationally. When we open up the recruitment process, more than 120,000 job seekers registered on the database. Should operators in the private sector want to draw beneficiaries from this database, the city will be more than willing to assist in this regard. One of the things that we are also now doing is that in the contracts that we are also now going to be signing, especially in the construction of roads and in the construction of houses, we are also saying that contractors must tap into this database and ensure that our young people who are sitting with degrees, with diplomas, but not having the practical experience will get an opportunity to once and for all be employed to get these opportunities so that we can capacitate our city going forward. Some of the main projects that beneficiaries are working on include the replacement of the water network project in Garsfontein, a project by the PRASA to restore the railway line in Tshwane, the regraveling and maintenance operation of roads in Bronkhorstspruit, along with participants who are working as administrators and data capturers in various city of Tshwane clinics and many other projects across the city. Madam Speaker, we are a host of a number of institutions of higher learning. So it is our responsibility as a city to ensure that we are also the provider of opportunities of learnership to those learners that will be coming out of those institutions of higher learning. Madam Speaker, we embarked on a program to train chartered accountants through the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants program. This is a 3-year learnership program that allows trainees of qualifying or who qualify as finance professionals to participate in. The first batch of 9 learners commenced in November 2017. Tshwane is the first municipality to implement such a program. We are indeed proud to be leading the way in this one. In pursuing this program, we were motivated by the determination to be the city that facilitates economic growth and job creation. The Chartered Accounts Training Program is expected to enroll about 10 trainees per year from the previous disadvantaged communities, thus assisting to advance the BEE objectives of the city while at the same time addressing unemployment amongst our youth. The program will create a pool of finance professionals within the city, in which the city will also be able to greatly benefit from going forward. The spin-offs of the municipality is that we will have access to critical skills from an internal source and reduce the reliance of use of consultants. I have said, Madam Speaker, that it looked like before we were running a consultancy agency. Everything that needed to be done in the city was done through consultants. And we are moving away from there. We are saying we will upskill our people, we'll make sure that we get the relevant skills in the city so that we can create more permanent position of skilled people that will be able to deliver better services to our people going forward. Trainees join the program already holding a bachelor's degree and then go through a series of board exams with the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants through the traineeship period. Currently, there's only one trainee who has passed their first South African Institute of Chartered Accounting board exams, the first time in this round. And we are encouraging others to study hard, to apply themselves, and also to come out so that we can also place them where it is critically needed in the city to apply the skills that they have achieved. The impact, Madam Speaker, as well, will be on the economy, and it will be in multifolds, with more accountants being developed and trained in Tshwane and Gauteng as a whole, helping to address the shortage of scarce skills and ultimately creating an environment in the public sector where the future accountants can and will be trained and qualify as chartered accountants. The city will be achieving the objectives of creating chartered accountants who are industry experts in the public sector, best placed to add value and help improve the overall financial management in the public sector, thereby injecting much more needed skills in improving service delivery in our city. The public sector has been plunged with poor governance for a very, very long time. This is is partly attributed to a lack of internal processes with public entities to develop skills of their people, and secondly, the unwillingness of professionals to become employees of public sector entities. This has resulted in public entities having employees who are not thoroughly grounded in professional skills and ethical values. We are saying we need to make sure that we attract the right talent into the public sector. We are also ensuring that we assist and training those that are already in the public sector to get them to the level in which they will be able to compete with the peers in the private sector. The program, Madam Speaker, is also expected to positively contribute towards the improvement of governance within the city and across the public sector as a whole. Madam Speaker, at the beginning of the Transport Month in October 2017, the Department of Roads and Transport initiated a youth pilot project assisting job seekers with free transport in Bronkhorstspruit Region 7. This project, yes, we can. This project is the first of this kind in the country, Madam Speaker. The then Chilanuzuku, a mine was about to start operating in Bronkhorstspruit, and the mine was looking at employing 100 new employees during that first phase. The city, in conjunction with the Black Royalty Minerals, worked hand in hand to provide buses to the unemployed youth for free to submit their applications in dedicated locations in Bronkhorstspruit. We launched this week-long exercise that covered all 4 major areas of Region 7. 1 area per day was provided with 2 buses to ferry job seekers to and from dedicated locations for their CV submissions. In 1 week, more than 5,000 unemployed people were provided with free transport to submit their CVs. People came from other neighboring provinces and other areas to be assisted with a noble gesture from the administration as well. We are in the process of developing a program that will also see unemployed youth being registered and assisted with free transport when looking for employment. We will ensure that the unemployed youth of our city, Madam Speaker, are actually assisted so that we can see more and more young people being employed. One of the things that we are driving, Madam Speaker, is the issue of driving the economy, which I will talk to in a little while. Madam Speaker, a sensitive subject close to my heart is that of substance abuse. Bana ba borona gona yaanong ba bolwa ke nyaope. Bana ba borona gona yaanong ba fetile makgoba mo le gore nyaope has now become the order of the day. You wake up, you go to Bridgeview, you see what is happening there. You go to Deneboom, you see what is happening there. You go to Atteridgeville, you see what is happening there. And we are saying this cannot continue to happen. We need to make sure that we address this issue and the scourge of drugs in our city. A consequence of joblessness, Madam Speaker, is actually indeed the proliferation of drug abuse, which can ultimately lead to other forms of crime. In order to combat the scourge of drug in the city, we have adopted an integrated and holistic approach which provides a comprehensive and lasting solution. We are deeply concerned about the scourge of drugs on our communities, particularly our youth. The community continue to use, or we see the continuation of the use of drugs that has left many people unproductive, pushing them further into the poverty or driving them deeper into drug-related crime and other illicit activities. This often includes theft with targeted, which also include the target city infrastructure, and lived it damaged, which has also devastating consequences for our ability to provide reliable services to our people. Realizing a need for a specialized drug operations team, we've immediately established the TMPD anti-drug unit with the sole purpose of fighting and eliminating drug abuse in the community of Tshwane. Members of the unit were given additional training and equipment to take this battle to the next level. And I'm happy to say that across the city, drug lords and peddlers are now feeling the heat of the city of Tshwane drug unit. This is not enough, Madam Speaker. We need to work very, very much hard in collaboration with other law agencies to make sure that we are able to drive this problem to acceptable levels or to drive it to ground zero. However, the war on crime will not be won by law enforcement agency alone, and also had to include social interventions to prevent drug use or drug abuse while providing a safe haven for those who suffer consequences of drug and substance abuse. The city's health department is currently funding the Department of Home, or the Department of Home Affairs, Department of Health, sorry, Madam Speaker, with medicine at the University of Pretoria, who have developed the evidence-based community-oriented substance abuse to the communities that do need that. The program called COSUP, Madam Speaker, is one which we are rolling up that will ensure that we reach much more families that needs to be reached and those that are users that needs to be reached. To date, over 2,000 people were enrolled on the COSUP program, and more than 12,000 follow-up visits were conducted for intensive intervention. This includes people reached through awareness and education campaign. It is estimated that we have reached more than 40,000 people through our outreach and education program. We, as we speak, Madam Speaker, COSUP is also providing skills training to about 92 rehabilitating substance abusers. This program not only assists addicts to overcome their addiction, but also help them to face social and psychological challenges that come their way, and that is also contributed to their addiction. Every day, our 24-hour call line and the Hope Line takes calls and refer callers to assistance or for assistance, and at the same time provide basic transport services, accommodation, food, and blanket in cases of emergency. I'm reminded, Madam Speaker, of one of the first cases that we took, Madam Speaker. A lady that was actually brought in through human trafficking, Madam Speaker, was taken from Cape Town and had been pumped full of drugs on a daily basis and being used to sleep with men on a daily basis. And Madam Speaker, when this lady called us and said, I cannot do this anymore, Hope Line was there to reach out a helping hand. And I'm talking to you right now, she's on a way to recovery. She's now looking forward to be reunited. She's looking forward to be reunited with her child, Madam Speaker, that she has lost, that she have left in Cape Town, Madam Speaker. But more than that, she's having a job that is waiting for her. Once the program is finalized and she is on the straight and narrow, Madam Speaker, a job will be waiting for her so that she can provide not only for her children, but she can also provide in ensuring that our city and those that are affected, Madam Speaker, never get to a stage and to a position that she found herself in. And I think I want to thank those, and especially MMC, and those that have worked with MMC Deploy in ensuring that this program of ours become a success. There's a lot that still needs to be done, but indeed a word of thank you to the team. And I may ask that we continue to do the work that we need to do to ensure that we rid our streets and our homes of these drugs. Callers in need. Callers, Madam Speaker, in need of support are also contacted and served by a social worker who also make a follow-up calls and ensure that the need of those callers are properly dealt with. Hopeline is also one of the 5 response mechanisms that we have put in place to fight the scourge of drug and substance abuse. And I'm pleased to announce that since the launch of Hopeline, the city of Tshwane has registered an increased number of calls and has dealt with all the pleas for help by those affected by drug and substance abuse. From its launch in August 2018 until the 25th of March 2018, the city of Tshwane has registered 422 calls from the residents looking for the help with respect of locating the nearest drug rehabilitation centers. In July 2017, we signed 23 service level agreements with the NPOs dealing with drug and substance abuse. Our preoccupation is to fight the drug problem while creating the opportunity for employment and productivity across the city. In July 2017, we also signed 23 service-level agreements with NPOs dealing with the drug and substance abuse. Our preoccupation is to fight the drug problem while creating the opportunity for employment and productivity across the city. We are committed to fighting the drug and the scourge of substance abuse. We'll continue to fight the scourge until we win it. And we want to say to the community, this cannot be a fight for us alone. It needs to be a fight for all of us as the city of Tshwane and the people of South Africa. Madam Speaker, I want to also say we have lost quite a number of lives due to drug abuse. I met with a young man in a place called Melchizedek who has now gone beyond just smoking. He's now injecting himself in his private parts with nyaupe, with liquidized nyaupe. What he said, Madam Speaker, is that this young man, when engaging him, he said to me that he now has to smoke a minimum of 200 rand or inject himself with a minimum of 200 rand worth of drugs each and every day. And I want to say we need to find a way to address this problem and fight this scourge if we are to save the next generation. And I indeed will ensure that the fight is taken to the drug dealers, but more than that, we help the young people with the help of those that are working with us to fight the scourge until we win the fight. Madam Speaker, allow me to now talk to you about the issue that is also very much in the minds of so many, and that is the issue of health. Promoting a health and wellness for our residents is central. It's a central and a priority to how we respond as a government. Recognizing that the challenge faced by many residents in accessing basic primary health care, appreciating the geographical layout of Tshwane, among other factors, mean that access to health care facilities is currently a challenge which we are committed to addressing. Due to the difference in location and income, access is determined not only by the physical location of healthcare facilities, but also by affordability of health services. Low levels of access to decent healthcare facility is also something that we need to make sure that we do address. We need to make sure that those that find themselves in the low access to decent healthcare facility get the improved services, Madam Speaker, to ensure that it has a knock-on effect, because access to healthcare ensures that you have a better, a prolonged life and a better life that our people are longing for in the city, Madam Speaker, which also have an effect, Madam Speaker, on the productivity of our economy, Madam Speaker, going forward. The city has, however, committed itself to ensuring that when we are talking about addressing this issue, we improve access to public health care facilities by doing the following. We are talking about developing a healthcare capacity based on the services that are rendered by the city, and integrate the public and private healthcare system better, and locating adequate resources to deal with communicable and non-communicable diseases. Partnering with the communities to develop community-based healthcare services, which will allow for flexible delivery of health services, which will improve the distribution of health information. Creating strategic partnership with the knowledge and innovation institutions towards developing efficient and effective health solutions, and institutions of excellence in providing of health services and monitoring our health outcomes. We have also, Madam Speaker, increased our access to health services, whereby services are now available from Monday to Friday from 7 o'clock until 4 o'clock, and extended on weekend from 8 o'clock until 1 o'clock on Saturdays in 14 of our 24 facilities. We are working towards ensuring that we get a 24-hour facilities, Madam Speaker, and it's something that we need to make sure that, especially in areas where hospitals are far out, Madam Speaker, we work very hard to ensure that those clinics are 24-hour running clinics, Madam Speaker. But taking that into consideration, Madam Speaker, we need to also take note of the resources that are at our disposal. You cannot have a clinic that runs on a 24-hour basis if it's not able to deal with the issues of emergencies. If people come into a clinic that is only equipped to deal with the day-to-day running, or as we call it, the dag bestuur, or the dag management, Madam Speaker, you are going to have a problem in the evening. So ours is to make sure that they are able to also deal with emergencies that might be coming in there. And that means that proper equipping our clinics, proper also ensuring that those clinics will have people that will be able to work there, security personnel that also needs to be there, doctors that needs to be there, to ensure that we are able to run a proper 24-hour facility for our people. That is something that we're working around, Madam Speaker. In Region 1, Madam Speaker, and Region 2, we have Roslyn and Karen Park Clinic, which are going to be targeted for that, Madam Speaker. In Region 3, FF Rubero Clinic, situated at Semi-Mark Square, and also in Lotus Gardens, Lotus Gardens Clinic, Madam Speaker. Pomolong Clinic, situated in Atteridgeville. There's also the Atteridgeville Clinic in Mareka Street, Madam Speaker. In Gazankulu Clinic in Maunde Street, which will also become later on a 24-hour clinic, as we are trying to assist our people going forward. In Denville Clinic and in Hercules, we are also looking at ensuring that we are able to then extend the hours of those clinics. In Region 4, we have Oliver Old Bosch Clinic, which will also receive that, Madam Speaker. In Region 6, we have Stanzabo Pape 2 Clinic in Mamelodi East, and also in El Mafias Clinic in Mamelodi East. Pahameng Clinic will also be receiving that particular system, Madam Speaker. And also the Mamelodi West Clinic will also receive that particular service. The full PHC package is provided at the clinics, Madam Speaker, where we are talking about the ART and the ARV rollout. At our 24 facilities, we have also appointed 34 retired nurses on contract to assist with the critical shortage in the PHC clinics, Madam Speaker. At this point, Madam Speaker, I also want to say that we are rolling out a program in which people don't have to go and queue in clinics, Madam Speaker, just to access their medication. We are in negotiations with a number of pharmacies that find themselves across our city and across our townships, where we are able to then have people going there to collect their medication instead of falling in lines in clinics. In August, Madam Speaker, we handed over the Block JJ Clinic in Soshanguve to the MEC of Health in our province to jointly with the city provide quality health care services to all our community members. It was clear that the community was in desperate need of a proper health facility that will cater for all their health needs. The city, as a caring government, acceded to their call for a proper, dignified health facility. On the 16th of April of this financial year, we will also be handing over the Zitobeni Clinic to our provincial government to ensure that the community of Zitobeni receive the primary health care services that they rightfully deserve. The pharmaceutical section has continuously managed to ensure that more than 90% of the essential medicines are available at facilities at all times. I today announce that the city of Tshwane is in the process of also ensuring that, in addition to partnering with local pharmacies, we are also going to ensure that we engage in those other EPWP workers that will be able to assist in ensuring that those that cannot get themselves to the clinics, that cannot get themselves to the pharmacies, are assisted in getting medication to their doorstep. That is a program that we are also working on, Madam Speaker. This will also make it easier for us to bring primary health care and medication closer to the people who need it the most, and avert some of the protracted waiting in queues offered and suffered by by old age and ailing, frail residents who look to get much needed medication. We will also be launching a multi-region upgrading of clinic dispensaries to ensure that each LA clinic have a pharmacy according to the national norms and standards. Madam Speaker, the rains are welcomed in our city. It's something that we cannot shy away. There are cities, there are provinces that are really battling with drought at the moment. But those have really come up with a very, very heavy expense at our side. We have seen that our infrastructure has taken quite a huge knock in the last few months with the heavy rains that we have experienced. During the previous month, Madam Speaker, more specifically on the 19th of March 2018, we were compounded with issues of sinkholes, particularly in Region 4. From the 2017-2018 financial year, we have recorded a total of 27 sinkholes requiring various extents or which requiring various extent of repairs and restoration. To fix all the city's sinkholes at once, it will cost an estimated 100 million rand, and the city has committed to addressing the problem over the next financial years. However, site securing, geographical or geological investigations and periodic monitoring of the sinkholes has been done in the meantime, Madam Speaker. We have committed 25 million rand from the operating budget towards repairing of the Jean Avenue sinkhole, and in order to bring us one step closer to restoring the optimum business activity in that particular area. The sinkhole has caused massive disruption of business and traffic flow in Centurion. It is the largest sinkhole sinkhole cost of repair, and the tender has already been awarded to a contractor who's already on site to make sure that we are able to fix this once and for all. Another sinkhole prioritized for the repair, Madam Speaker, is in Club View, which will cost approximately 3 million rand, which has also the potential to affect 900 households, and the Second Avenue Claudius, the one in Claudius, Madam Speaker, which will also cost about 15 million rand. Another massive newly developed sinkhole, Madam Speaker, is along the R55 in Lodium, which will cost an estimated between 40 and 50 million rand to fix. We are appreciative that the province will cover this cost. In the coming weeks, Madam Speaker, the city will also, however, fund this and reprioritize to make sure that the sinkholes in areas that needs to be addressed will receive the financial muscle that they need for us to be able to address those. In Lodium, we are very much aware, Madam Speaker, that there is an area which business have been adversely compromised, and we want to ensure that we get to fixing those potholes and we can get the people's life to return back to normal. There are about 8 sinkholes in Lodium, as I've said, Madam Speaker, and 3 are already being treated, Madam Speaker, and we want to make sure in the next financial year an additional 3 will also be addressed as we go into the future, and thereafter the following year we'll also be able to deal with the balance of those. And in the meantime, we hope that we don't suffer much more of these sinkholes, Madam Speaker, and we are trying to be proactive by ensuring that we get the right and relevant technology in order for us to test the grounds where we will also be able to tell where we have good and bad dolomite, as it's being called in those terms. Madam Speaker, we can only manage that which we can measure, and we are pleased to announce that the city of Tshwane has an internationally recognized carbon footprint developed in 2017 with the technical support from the C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group. This step alone, Madam Speaker, puts us on par with the global C40 cities such as New York, London, Copenhagen, and so on and so forth. And it is the impetus of a wide-ranging set of measures to support the global effort to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in a bid to stem global warming and havoc it is wreaking. Floods, droughts, unbearable temperature, increases and the concomitant of health impacts that it has on our people. These measures are contained in our climate response strategy and are guiding our efforts to take charge of our actions that are harmful to the planet and to humanity. Madam Speaker, we are very much aware that if we are to take care of our environment, it will lead to better productivity as more of our people will be much more healthier, as it will lead to more economic growth. So it has much more spins for us as a city to be proactive in terms of taking care of our environment. The foundation of the strategy is to preserve our ecological infrastructure, Madam Speaker. The green and open spaces, the rivers, the wetlands, as well, Madam Speaker, needs to be taken care of. As this infrastructure has considerable social, economic, and cultural values. We have seen, Madam Speaker, that there are those contractors, either private or maybe by the public sector, who find themselves dumping oil and raw sewage into our river streams, Madam Speaker. That is something that is receiving our attention, and I will be bringing in a proposal to council so that we can resolve on the increase of some of the fines that we are leveraging on some of these people, because these are things that they know they can pay a small fine but continue to do wrong. But if we increase the fines to make it more painful for them, they will consider their options before dumping where there's not supposed to be dumping. By preserving and conserving and rehabilitating our ecological infrastructure, we have a natural bulk way, Madam Speaker, against the climate impact. Whatever form they may take, we need to make sure that we respond, and we respond accordingly. In executing the climate response strategy, we would like to acknowledge the efforts by the National Treasury City Support Program to ensure that the City of Tshwane spending is mindful of the responsive to climate impact. We need to make sure that as much as we want to ensure that we grow the economy, but we grow the economy in a much more sustainable but much more responsible manner. We are making a considerable effort to ensure that the developing of our budgets factor in issues of climate change, and ensuring that also our procurement, we procure goods and services from those that are supporting us in our drive towards climate change and the good work that we are doing. This is also supported by our sustainable procurement strategy that I've also spoken about, Madam Speaker, where we are saying that we need to transform the way our consumption patterns are also are done, Madam Speaker, and ensure that we buy things like paper from those that are supporting recycling as a measure going forward, that we are able to buy water from those that are using containers that are recyclable as well, Madam Speaker. Purchasing such as an investment in the green buildings is one of the ways that we're looking at ensuring that ours become a resilient city going forward. Cleaner fuel for our vehicles and a drive towards sustainable energy mix should be what we are focusing on. When we're talking about ensuring that the old ISCO and the old Pretoria West or the ISCO power plant gets to be transformed, Madam Speaker, into a system where we'll be able to use renewable energy is something that is very much in the pipeline. Such ambitions are efforts that are receiving immense recognition on a national and continental and indeed international platform. And we need to make sure that we drive them as we demonstrate the recent African commitment to ensuring that the ICLEI Global Executive Committee, as well as the commitment that we made at the C40, are indeed carried out, not only by the cities, but by the nation as a whole. Madam Speaker, I want to talk to you about the roads and transport that is in the city and the plans going forward. We understand, Madam Speaker, that a safe and reliable public transport system, as well as the state-of-the-art road infrastructure network, are all the ingredients to ensure that we have a growing, economically viable city. The Rainbow Junction, Madam Speaker, Rainbow Junction bypass, Madam Speaker, a Tshwane Rapid Transport Project, as well as the other project that we have already set in place, are well on track and expected to be completed by the end of the current financial year. In February, the city held a marathon of consultations with the concerned commuters and taxi organizations in Hammanskraal, following the disruptions of public transport to commuters from Hammanskraal into the CBD. We need to ensure that we engage with yourselves as we are implementing this program of the BRT system or the bus system that is able to take people from Hammanskraal or Rainbow Junction into the CBD. We will continue to engage with yourself. We agree that we cannot implement anything without talking to you or consulting with yourself. That is something that we can agree on. while some of the issues could be addressed within the reasonable space of time, I also want to plead that there are matters that are bound by legal agreements that had been entered into by the city and the taxi industry, which cannot be changed overnight. We need to be frank, and we need to be open about these challenges, and we need to be able to communicate these challenges with our people out there. We appreciate the agreement by both the parties to allow the leadership of Tshwane to look into the issues raised, and we will make sure that we provide feedback once those issues have been addressed. I want to thank MMC Sinkobuke as well for leading this particular program here, also with the MEC Vadi, as well as the group head and the city manager, to ensure that we are able to find an amicable solution in addressing this problem going forward. Our vision is to also have a capital city with reliable and effective public transport services, with lower emissions, where we can gradually decrease the private usage of cars in our roads, Madam Speaker, especially in the CBD. This, which leads to congestion, which leads to less productivity that we have started to see, Madam Speaker. If we can have less vehicles coming into the vicinity of the CBDs, not only the CBD here in the capital, but also around where we have CBDs like the CBD in Mabopane, the CBD in Brongospruit, the CBD as well in Atteridgeville, those, and in Mamelodi as well. We need to make sure that we work together to address the issue of congestion in those. But that can only be addressed if we address the issue of public transport and ensuring that ours is public transport that is affordable, that is reliable, that is also public transport that will be able to accommodate everybody, whether you are coming from the township or you're coming from an informal settlement. That transport should be able to accommodate you. It is also on this note, Madam Speaker, that we have successfully launched the Belo Ombre Comprehensive and Compressed Natural Gas Depot, Madam Speaker, which will also be fully operational before the end of the financial year. Of the 114 buses that are running there, Madam Speaker, 40 are running on compressed natural gas. So we are contributing, Madam Speaker, and ensuring that we no longer have buses that are running in using the fossil fuel, and ensuring that we are able to contribute towards the targets that have been set at a national level to reduce our carbon footprint as a city of Tshwane, Madam Speaker. Tshwane is the first city in the sub-Saharan Africa to run a full CNG propelled buses. We seek to reaffirm our position as a leader in the green technology and other green intervention. That is something that we are working towards, and we will be the champions in Africa of driving this program going forward. In October 2017, the city of Tshwane successfully took over the bus service operation of Autopax in Mamelodi. It has always been our desire to provide transport services of high density to high density areas that do not fast track, or that does fast track the modes of transport, and ensuring that transport is much more accessible to our people, and in places such as Mamelodi, in Atteridgeville, in Soshanguve, in Hammanskraal, and in other places. Nane sokhulume asinganilibali sizofika napho nakini senze ukuthi lawo mabhasi ayafika lapha nakini ukuthi senze ukuthi abantu bethu bazala ngasedrobheni bathola amabhasi asebenzako, amabhasi clean, amabhasi angastaki endleleni sisiyeza nalapha nakini. We have also undertaken, Madam Speaker, the construction of internal roads in Ga-Rankuwa. In Ga-Rankuwa, in Unit 9, Madam Speaker, we've committed to constructing 11.1 kilometers of roads, Madam Speaker. In Soshanguve Block GG, 2.3 kilometers of road. In Soshanguve Block L, a kilometer of walkways that we are also finalizing, Madam Speaker. We will also be upgrading the road from gravel to tar in Kangala and Zitobeni, Madam Speaker. As a result of the flooding water storm systems.
Honorable councillors, there will be a debate. You will get an opportunity. Today, we know it is an opportunity for the executive mayor to present his speech. Can I please plead for your continued cooperation? Please, honorable councillors, please. EM, please continue. Thank you very much for your continued cooperation. Thank you very much for your continued cooperation.
Thank you.
Let's proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam
EM.
Speaker. As a result of the stormwater systems, We will also be constructing in Esteres 2.2 kilometers of stormwater drainage, Madam Speaker. In Matengteng, we'll be constructing 3 kilometers of stormwater drainage. In Kurube, Unit 6, we'll also be constructing 1 kilometer, as well as in Attridge, we'll be constructing the 3.8 kilometer of the stormwater drainage. We are aware that some of our projects are taking time to get off the ground. We have assembled a team to speed up the implementation of these roads and transport projects. Madam Speaker, we need to be able to tell the people of the challenges that we are sitting with and why some of the projects are stalling. We have seen that some of the projects are stalling because there are those that want to force themselves onto projects that have already been implemented or that are being implemented. Law and order needs to be the order of the day. We cannot have so-called business forums hijacking projects or stopping projects, Madam Speaker. We're engaging and we are encouraging people who want to subcontract to engage in a proper manner in which we'll be able to ensure that the communities are also able to benefit in this regard. Madam Speaker, in Eldorraine we have 132 kilowatts, Madam Speaker, kilovolts substation that is also now being constructed, Madam Speaker, and will be commissioning very, very soon. The substation in Mamelodi as well. In Mamelodi, Madam Speaker, three 132 kilovolts substations have already been completed and the handover will be done, Madam Speaker. Various other substations are currently also are being upgraded. We are doing this because we need to make sure that when we are providing electricity to those that don't have electricity, we have the capacity to ensure that the system is stable, to ensure that, unlike previously where we just keep connecting people without ensuring that we are upgrading the system will be able to hold. This will also be able to contribute, Madam Speaker, to the stabilization and improvement of the energy supply to our residents. About 7,900 electricity connections will be done in Mamelodi Extension 11, Attridgeville Extension 11, Fort West Extension 4, Garankuwa Zone 14, Pienaarsport, Olivenhout Bosch Extension 60, and Zitobeni Extension 9. We are saying 7,900 will be electrified in this year, Madam Speaker. In Mamelodi Extension 5, about 74 households have been connected, and over 200 households in Melusi Extension 2 are now with electricity. Nelmafias Extension 24 and Soshanguve Extension 19 have seen 2,600 and 560 electricity connections respectively. On public lighting progress made, Madam Speaker, 35 high-mast lights, Madam Speaker, have been installed, and 2,300 street lights have been serviced around 7 regions, Madam Speaker. I am very much aware that some of the infrastructure is very old, and therefore is very, very much weak from time to time, especially when we're having weather changes or we have severe storm. That is receiving attention from ourselves, and we need to make sure that we allocate funds towards ensuring that we renew some of that infrastructure so that they can withstand all the weather conditions that are coming or that have been happening in our city. The people of New Klipgat can also rest assured that the water generation and management will also be improved in that particular space, as well as ensuring that we complete the project within this financial year. So the people of that particular space will ensure that they are now getting clean drinking water going forward. So we want to say to the people of New Klipgat, clean water is coming your way and will be delivered to your homes and not instant pipes outside. Madam Speaker, all these projects are made possible by simply having money in the bank. Our finances are beginning to be in good standing. Since taking over and running of the city, cash and cash equivalents at the end of the year improved from 1.1 billion rand in 2015-2016 financial year to 2.1 billion rand in the 2016-2017 years. So we have much more money so that we can implement much more projects that are needed in Region 1 and Region 2, which have been neglected for all these years that they were waiting for this administration to come into office. Unauthorized expenditure, Madam Speaker, have reduced from 1.6 billion rand in the financial year 2015-2016 to 634 million rand in 2016-2017. More than a year, in a year we've cut 1 billion rand in unauthorized expenditure. And I think it's something that we can celebrate because it talks about the discipline that we have been able to put and ensuring that the system is able to work for the people, not the politician or the connected few. The stabilization of the capital's finances is the critical foundation, Madam Speaker, which we will ensure that we continue to make progress in the delivery of services for our people. This will in turn, Madam Speaker, benefit in attracting investment in our beautiful city. I heard somebody saying that Moody's will come and downgrade the city going forward. The letter that we've got from Moody's is now encouraging, and it says to us that we are looking better than what we have been looking before, and we are looking to a favorable result at the end of the financial year. Last month, Madam Speaker, we tabled a draft poor budget and integrated development plan, Madam Speaker, to council for public participation. The draft IDP and budget, which is currently out of public, at the public domain for residents to apply their mind and to also raise their views, will be able to do that. And we're encouraging people to also participate in that regard. Particularly, we're talking about the people who are from poor backgrounds, who have been living for the longest of time in the periphery of the economic activities, who have been seeing services being delivered and not to themselves. We are asking for them to come and participate in the IDP and the budget process so that they can also play a pivotal role in shaping how we will be able to do the 2018-2019 budget and also roll out projects going forward. This will also ensure, Madam Speaker, that the rich and the poor are able to have a say in what we do as a city. As we've said, we are a city that ensures that opportunities are not only reserved for a few, but are indeed reserved for everybody, if we are serious about driving a better life for everybody in the city. Similarly, our proposed budget is preoccupied with dealing with the inequalities in our society, with bulk of our capital infrastructure, Madam Speaker, earmarked for Region 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7. If you know these regions, you would know, Madam Speaker, that those are the ones that have been neglected for the longest of time. And we are saying we want to ensure that bulk infrastructure and bulk investment is taken to those regions. These regions, Madam Speaker, accommodate the poor population of the city, which are mainly residents in the previously disadvantaged township areas. Projects are targeting the provision of basic services in these areas. In doing this, we will make it a priority that we engage in region-specific service delivery projects and not a spray gun approach, which often achieve nothing and end up being expensive. We are saying that we want to ensure that when we go into the regions, we focus on at least 3 regional projects, and we complete those. And we focus on ensuring that each region has got specific programs that we can embark on and we can finish. There are those that will also be rolled out in conjunction with the national and provincial government. Those will also be projects that will also be incorporated into the workings of the regions going forward. I urge our residents to participate in this process as we build the desired vision for 2030. That also preoccupies the capital city and also ties the capital city to ensure that fairness, freedom, and opportunity is indeed achieved for our people. In doing so, I wish to announce that the City of Tshwane has also developed an app that will be rolled out during this consultation process that seeks to modernize demographic participation in changing time for the technology. This is also to encourage our youth to participate in the running of the city that they live in and that they will one day inherit. We want to say to them, make use of this app as you are technologically savvy. Make use of this app and participate in ensuring that your voice is also being heard and you can shape how the city of ours will look like and will behave going forward. Some of the big projects for the 2018-2019 financial year, Madam Speaker, include the reduction of water losses management, wherein we have budgeted 70 million rand in the 2018-2019 financial year. 500 million will also go towards electricity distribution, upgrades of feeders, cable and lines, mini substations, the upgrading of the wastewater treatment works, which will cost about 99 million rand for the 2018-2019. The 190 million rand in the next financial year as well, which will go towards the upgrading of some of the infrastructure as well. That needs some serious upgrading as well. These are just some of the investment that we will be putting in place to make sure that our VIPs receive the services that they so desire, and that is quality services that our people deserve, Madam Speaker. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, as a capital city, we have a responsibility to ensure that we have the highest possible standard of services that is delivered to our people. We need to send a standard for the rest of the country, and we cannot fail in setting that standard. We have the eyes and the ears of the international community here. We have the eyes and the ears of government departments that are here. We need to make sure that ours is a city that excels in delivering quality standards. I am proud of the accomplishment that this administration has made, but also I'm very much aware that much more still needs to be done. I want to apologize to those that we have not been able to get to, and those that have not yet felt the service delivery that we have promised the people of Tshwane. And we want to commit ourselves to saying that with all the failures, we will continue to press on and make sure that we get it right, as to ensure that the city of Tshwane will indeed be a city of excellence. Credit also goes to all the officials who have rolled up their sleeves to help make this city become a livable, resilient, and inclusive city. This administration will continue to honor the commitment it has made to all the people of Tshwane, to be a government that they can be proud of. Let us work together, build a world-class city, and a city that is prosperous for all. I want to take this opportunity to thank my MMCs as well for the sterling work that they are doing. Under difficult times, we continue to push on. The city manager and the team as well. I want to also take the opportunity to thank the people of Tshwane for the support that they've given us and for the continuation of working together in that particular spirit of ensuring that at the end of the day, we are able to deliver a city that will be a world-class city, a city of excellence. I want to thank my family for supporting me. It's not always easy that I'm never home, always in communities doing what needs to be done. Thank you for allowing me to do what needs to be done. I want to say as well to all councillors, thank you very much for ensuring that our communities are informed and engaged in programs of government. I want to say to the chiefs that are sitting here today, we are going to work together in building a city of Tshwane that we can be proud of, a city that will be the beacon of hope, not only for South Africa, but for the continent as a whole. Ke a leboga.
Thank you very much, Executive Mayor. Thank you, Honorable Councillors. Thank you very much indeed. Now, in terms of the rules and orders, Section 2D, subsection 2, after the Executive Mayor's address on the State of the Capital Address has been delivered, the Speaker must place it on the agenda of the next Ordinary Council meeting for debate.
Joining us right now is Ntate Tebogo Jwala, who's the ANC in Tshwane spokesperson. Mr. Jwala, what was your reaction about the mayor's speech overall?
Well, thank you very much. I think it was very flat, very uninspiring, lacked a lot of imagination, or did not have imagination at all. Look, the city could have prepared itself better. The mayor's speech did not have elements that you expect in a speech. In essence, that it did not say anything about the problems that we're having in the city, that we're facing. It does not say anything about what it's going to do about the economy. It does not say anything about the youth unemployment that we are having. It does not say anything about many other areas of intervention that you expect the speech should carry. For instance, he speaks about the sketch of Nyaupe and drug abuse. Yet he fails to meaningfully give us practical interventions that is going to make how the city is going to further invest, building on what the ANC government would have done since until 2016. So he does not say anything. He recognizes where the problems are, but he doesn't say how he's going to resolve them. Of course, there are also other clear things that are happening in the city, like the city is dirty throughout, whether it be in the inner city or in the townships. There is a problem with waste removal. He did not say anything about it. There's a problem with sewer systems that he mentions, like in the area of Ga-Rankuwa, which he fails to only mention Ga-Rankuwa. It doesn't say what is happening in Zitoben, in the south of, in the Brongospruit area. He does not come up clear as to when and how quick can you see difference happening. There's issues of electricity outages, which is blaming to cable theft, which we don't believe that entirely that is the only blame. There's also just a sheer lack of competency around how to drive service delivery and quicken it to make sure that it gets to our people consistently and continuously as expected, because the city residents, they pay rates and taxes, they expect to be serviced, and the services we are not feeling, we are not seeing. We at the moment have a serious problem across in the inner city and in the townships with potholes. Potholes are not being repaired. Traffic lights remain broken and unattended for extended periods of time. So we just experienced something that is quite new in our politics, a State of the Capital speech by the mayor who does not understand what is happening within the city, who lacks the agency and the competence and the know-how to respond to what is happening. Also, we can relate it to the DA's ideological framing or orientation, which is really lacks compassion about issues that are affecting our people direly, so on a daily basis.
Lastly, I know you have to run now. What are you going to do about this?
Look, we'll raise this issue sharply at council when we respond to the speech. We'll continue to make noise to all that can listen to us, but we will drive issues, provide leadership, provide direction inside the city with a clear practical programs that we think the city must pursue in order to be able to better the lives of our people, but more than anything, to basically ensure that basic services arrive at our people. But there are also other bigger issues that we mentioned, issues of economy, which the city does not really have a response to. That we have part of the projects that we had run previously, like Tsepo 10,000 and other programs that we did with the business community, that will continue to raise motions in council to ensure that they are adopted and they are being practicalized.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Tebogo Jwala is a spokesperson of the ANC in Tshwane, and he was just giving us his reaction on the State of the Capital address by Ntate Solly Msimang. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. No,
in the lifestyle of the citizens of Tshwane, hosting tourists, events and even fitness boot camps on its grounds.
Floyd, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, everyone.
What are you doing here?
I'm helping the community to get fit. I'm helping them in terms of getting the importance of exercising each and every day.
With its diverse culture and people, Tshwane is a living, thriving city in the heart of South Africa.
Tshwane is a city with a heart big enough for Nelson Mandela to embrace, and I embrace it too.
Well, there we go, and we've just had the State of the Capital address from Mayor Solly Msimanga, outlining the progresses that have been made here in the city. But he started his speech firstly by paying tribute to Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela, giving his sympathies and empathies to the country, his friends and his family, and it started on a very somber note. He went on to mention a couple of things that are troubling the city. Key amongst those is cable theft. About 1,500 cases or so of cable thefts in the city, making sadly ensuring that there are some power outages and sadly making sure that some of the city's residents don't enjoy the electricity privileges, and that has happened. But the mayor went on to mention key amongst them that the issue of unemployment and the unemployed residents will get free transport to get to access job opportunities. The mayor also went on to touch on the health care issue, saying that some clinics will open from 7:30 to 4 o'clock, seeing to it that the residents of the city can access some bit of health care. But very important to you, the integrated development plan. This is the plan that gives you access to participate in the prioritization of the city's budget. He has urged all of you, all of us as residents of the city, to make sure that we participate. He said also young people will be given an opportunity because there's an app that has been created to make sure that young people have access to making decisions in the city. This was a very comprehensive speech from the mayor of Tshwane, Mr. Solly Msimanga. The title deeds, particularly for the people of Nelmepias, Mamelodi and Refilwe, are still going to be handed out, and that gives them an edge to be owners of their particular properties. So the mayor touched on various issues, the issues of safety, the issues of education, the issues of infrastructure in this particular city. But key also troubling the mayor mainly was the matter of substance abuse, saying that it's a matter that is very close to his heart and he wants this addressed as soon as possible. But the opportunity is still there for you as a resident of the city to participate in all democratic processes in the city through the IDP, to make sure that you have your say as well. You can tell your city how you want to prioritize this. Oh, by the way, also don't forget the fact that you will be hosting the World Choir Festivals in this particular city. 340 choirs from various parts of the world. You're talking about China, the US, and everywhere else. They will be hosted in your city. So make sure that you are here, you welcome the guests, and you show them what the city of Tshwane has in store for you. So Mayor Solly Msimanga had a very comprehensive outlook on the city, and he does say that the challenges are still out there. They are real, and he needs the people of the city to come together to fight those challenges. But progress has been made as well in terms of housing that is taking place as well. He mentioned the issue of 5.1 million rand that has been sold, meaning that it has been auctioned. And now with that, I wish you the very best, and from your city, Igniting Excellence, have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. Yeah. Joining us right now is Ntate Tebogo Jwala, who's the ANC in Tshwane spokesperson. Mr. Jwala, what was your reaction about the mayor's speech overall?
Well, thank you very much. I think it was very flat, very uninspiring, lacked a lot of imagination, or did not have imagination at all. Look, the city could have prepared itself better. The mayor's speech did not have elements that you expect in a speech. In essence, that it did not say anything about the problems that we're having in the city that we're facing. It does not say anything about what it's going to do about the economy. It does not say anything about the youth unemployment that we're having. It does not say anything about many other areas of intervention that we expect the speech should carry. For instance, he speaks about the sketch of Nyaupe and drug abuse. Yet he fails to meaningfully give us practical interventions that is going to make how the city is going to further invest, building on what the ANC government would have done since until 2016. So he does not say anything. He recognizes where the problems are, but he doesn't say how he's going to resolve them. Of course, there are also other clear things that are happening in the city, like the city is dirty throughout, whether it be in the inner city or in the townships. There is a problem with waste removal. He did not say anything about it. There's a problem with sewer systems that he mentions, like in the area of Ga-Rankuwa, which he fails to only mention Ga-Rankuwa. It doesn't say what is happening in Zitoben, in the south of, in the Brongospruit area. He does not come up clear as to when and how quick can you see difference happening. There's issues of electricity outages, which is blaming to cable theft, which we don't believe that entirely that is the only blame. There is also just a sheer lack of competency around how to drive service delivery and quicken it to make sure that it gets to our people consistently and continuously as expected, because the city residents, they pay rates and taxes, they expect to be serviced, and the services we are not feeling, we are not seeing. We at the moment have a serious problem across in the inner city and in the townships with potholes. Potholes are not being repaired. Traffic lights remain broken and unattended for extended periods of time. So we just experienced something that is quite new in our politics, a State of the Capital speech by the mayor who does not understand what is happening within the city, who lacks the agency and the competence and the know-how to respond to what is happening. Also, we can relate it to the DA's ideological framing or orientation, which is really lacks compassion about issues that are affecting our people direly, so on a daily basis.
Lastly, I know you have to run now. What are you going to do about this?
Look, we'll raise this issue sharply at council when we respond to the speech. We'll continue to make noise to all that can listen to us, but we will drive issues, provide leadership, provide direction inside the city with a clear practical programs that we think the city must pursue in order to be able to better the lives of our people, but more than anything, to basically ensure that basic services arrive at our people. But there are also other bigger issues that we mentioned, issues of economy, which the city does not really have a response to. That we have part of the projects that we had run previously, like Tsepo 10,000 and other programs that we did with the business community, that will continue to raise motions in council to ensure that they are adopted and they are being practicalized.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
But it's a pleasure.
Tebogo Jwala is a spokesperson of the ANC in Tshwane, and he was just giving us his reaction on the State of the Capital address by Ntate Solly Msimang. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
в Южной Африке в 2018 году.
Not sleep with us in 2020.